Akhenaten, Dweller in Truth is a historical and philosophical novel by Nobel Prize-winning Egyptian writer Naguib Mahfouz. The novel explores the controversial reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who radically transformed ancient Egyptian religion by introducing monotheism centered on the worship of Aten, the sun disk. Told through the perspective of Meriamun, a young scribe and seeker of truth, the novel unfolds as a series of interviews with people who knew Akhenaten. Through this investigative journey, Mahfouz poses deeper questions about truth, power, faith, and the complexity of historical memory. Rather than presenting a definitive portrait, Mahfouz gives the reader a mosaic of conflicting perspectives, making the novel both a historical mystery and a meditation on the elusiveness of truth. 1. The frame narrative. A search for truth. The narrator, Meriamun, is the son of a respected courtier of Pharaoh Horemheb, the ruler who succeeded Tutankhamun. Fascinated by the story of Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh, whose rule disrupted Egypt's religious traditions, Meriamun sets out on a personal quest to uncover the truth behind the mysterious king's life and downfall. He travels to Akhenaten, the city Akhenaten built for the worship of Aten, and interviews various individuals who had known the pharaoh personally. Each person offers a different account, often contradictory, of who Akhenaten was and what motivated him. 2. Multiple perspectives. The novel is structured around these interviews, each a monologue in which a character recalls their version of events. I, former priest and advisor, describes Akhenaten as a visionary who was dangerously naive and detached from political reality. Horemheb, a general and later pharaoh, sees him as weak, stubborn, and fanatical, a threat to the stability of Egypt. Tay and Bekhetaten, Akhenaten's relatives, provide more sympathetic views, seeing him as sincere, though perhaps misguided. The high priest of Amen views him as a blasphemer who destroyed the traditional order of gods and society. Queen Nefertiti, his wife, offers a tragic and intimate perspective, revealing his internal struggle and isolation. Each character reflects their biases, experiences, and roles within Akhenaten's reign, making it difficult for Meriamun, and the reader, to determine the true Akhenaten. 3. Akhenaten's beliefs and reforms. What is clear from all accounts is that Akhenaten promoted monotheism, worshipping Aten, the sun disk, as the sole deity. He rejected the powerful priesthood of Amen, closed temples, and moved the capital to Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna. His reign was marked by religious revolution and iconoclasm, decline of traditional institutions, political instability, social unrest, isolation from military and administrative elites. Despite being pharaoh, he refused to play the traditional role of divine intermediary. Instead, he portrayed himself as a humble servant of Aten, often depicted with feminine features and with his family in intimate scenes, an unusual break from Egyptian artistic norms. 4. His fall and legacy. Akhenaten died under mysterious circumstances, and after his death, the old order quickly reasserted itself. His successors, including Tutankhamun and Horemheb, restored polytheism and tried to erase all traces of his reign. Temples were destroyed, and his name was removed from records. The novel ends with Meriamun reflecting on the ambiguity of truth. Each person gave a piece of Akhenaten's character, but the full picture remains elusive. Was he a prophet ahead of his time or a deluded idealist who brought ruin to Egypt? Analysis. 1. Central themes. A. Truth and subjectivity. The novel's title, Dweller in Truth, is deeply ironic. While Akhenaten claimed to dwell in truth, no one agrees on what that truth was. Mahfouz suggests that truth is not absolute but filtered through memory, power, and perspective. The novel becomes an inquiry not just into a man's life, but into the nature of history itself. Meriamun's quest becomes a metaphor for the human desire to find clarity in the chaos of conflicting narratives. B. Faith and fanaticism. Akhenaten's monotheism is both inspiring and disturbing. Some characters view his beliefs as spiritually pure, while others see them as fanatical and dangerous. Mahfouz explores the thin line between idealism and extremism, especially when faith is wielded in positions of power. The novel resonates with modern debates about religious reform, dogma, and the political consequences of theological rigidity. C. Power and responsibility. Akhenaten's rejection of traditional roles and institutions weakened Egypt's political structure. Mahfouz critiques the naive use of power. Akhenaten may have been sincere, but his actions had destructive consequences. The novel invites readers to reflect on the responsibilities of leadership and the dangers of ideological purity without pragmatism. D. Memory and historical revisionism. The erasure of Akhenaten's legacy after his death echoes real-world practices of damnatio memoriae, the deliberate forgetting of unpopular leaders. Mahfouz highlights how history is not a neutral record, but a battleground of interpretation, often written by the victors. 2. Characterization of Akhenaten. Interestingly, Akhenaten never speaks directly in the novel. We learn about him only through others, which maintains the aura of mystery and ambiguity. He is portrayed variously as a mystic and visionary, a misguided dreamer, a failed leader, a gentle, loving husband, a dangerous revolutionary. This narrative technique emphasizes the novel's central philosophical inquiry. Can we ever truly know another person, or even historical truth itself? 3. Narrative style and structure. The novel employs a frame narrative and multiple first-person monologues, creating a sense of oral history and intimate testimony. Each chapter reads like a confession or eyewitness account. Mahfouz's language, even in translation, is elegant, sparse, and thoughtful, often meditative. The structure allows the story to unfold gradually, as layers of perspective accumulate and sometimes contradict. 4. Symbolism. Aten, the sun disk, symbolizes divine truth, light, and clarity, but also the harshness of absolute belief. Akhenaten, the city, a symbol of idealism and isolation. Its destruction mirrors the failure of utopian dreams. Mariamin's journey, a symbolic pilgrimage for understanding, echoing the human quest for certainty and meaning. Akhenaten, Dweller in Truth, is more than a historical novel. It is a philosophical meditation on the nature of truth, faith, leadership, and memory. Mahfouz does not offer clear answers but instead invites readers into the ambiguity and complexity of the human experience.